the way to set price is to get good at ballparking price, right? Which is using that high level abstraction in the ballpark stage. So I think one of the better examples of effective use of ballparking is how CarMax uses, I don't even know if they do this on purpose, but if you're shopping for a used car on CarMax, one of the easiest ways to do it is to put in your ballpark price, right? You could say, oh, I'm buying a car for my kid. I don't want to spend more than $20,000. And ideally I'd love to spend, less than 16, but I'm just going to, what can I even get for $16,000 to $20,000, right? That's a high level abstraction of, I have this much money I can spend on this, or that's a payment that I could possibly afford for my kid for a few years. And so what is out there that's in that price range? And then what it'll do is it'll pull back, it'll say, hey, there's 55,000 matches. And you can start to see like what they are by car make, by type of car. Is it a little four-wheel drive, or is it a sedan, or is it a sport coupe? And you can start knocking things out that way. And the reason that works as a great example of ballparking is because I did this for a car that I bought. And in the end, I kind of narrowed it down. I was like, I kind of literally like 3 of these cars. And then I could really start looking for those particular cars. I didn't end up buying it from CarMax. But once I had ballparked and I was like, oh, it looks like it's about here. The car is at least around 4 years old. And if I can find one for, with less than 30,000 miles on it, it'd be a bonus. You end up finding one, right? If you could find one for that has 10,000 miles on it and it's perfect, and it's maybe $2,500 out of that price range. So let's say that I use that 16 to 20 as a ballpark, and it's really 20 to 50. I may end up there, right? Because we're no longer talking about a high level of abstraction, what kind of car. We're really getting down to brass tacks of, I'm looking for a Ford Expedition, with all these bells and whistles, and I'm hoping to get it for, and I found one here and it's 22.5. It's a little out of my price range, but it's okay. It's still within the ballpark, and the ballpark to me is always within 50%. So that's my wife banging around back there, making herself some coffee, it sounds like. So the ballpark, as long as you're within 50%, you're usually pretty accurate. So if we say $50,000 and you come in at somewhere between 25 and 75, you're not that far off from the initial ballpark price. You just can't be wildly off. Like, you can't say it's going to be $5,000 to $10,000 and then you show up at 100. People tend to freak out. So when you're ballparking, you should be able to set, a rough approximation of where you'll be. And again, should we proceed or should we not proceed, right? Somebody says, so you say, my projects are $50,000, and they say, God, I never do that. And that's your moment to step back and say, okay, so this may not be correct. Is there any reason for us to move forward with this, or should we start looking at a different way for you to solve this particular problem, right? That's better for the client. It's better for you because you can move on to the next thing when we do that. So that's ballparking price.